From Jerusalem. I'm joined in the studio by Shehata from BBC Arabic. Hello, Saeed. You were listening to all of that. Talk us through what you're hearing about what happened overnight.
What we're hearing, airstrikes, extensive airstrikes, which killed, according to the latest statistics released by the Hamas Health Ministry, more than 300 now killed. And piles of bodies were transferred in a plastic sheets to different hospitals, north, central, south, and people there grieving on the dead people. And some of them are children. They were sleeping during the strikes, and some other people were eating their food before starting the fasting during Ramadan. So it was devastating for them. And the scenes on the TV channels and all the talks of social media about how this was not expected like that is very strong since the ceasefire started on 19th of January. And even Israel accusing Hamas of preparing to launch another attack on Israel, regrouping again. And it shows again that with the military force, you cannot get rid of Hamas. So Israel should rethink again of its strategy. Is military option is the way to get rid of Hamas and achieve security for Israel, or another way, the negotiation and move to the second stage? And this is what Hamas calling on the international community, the Security Council, to have emergency meeting and calling for stopping that, because they want to move to the second stage. But Israel refusing doing that. And Ben Gvir, the former national security minister, and Smotrich, the minister of finance, both of them welcoming this move. And the trial of Mr. Netanyahu for the trial of corruption case was postponed today. So there is some accusation from Hamas to Israel of doing that and breaking and violating the terms of the ceasefire deal.
And as we're on air, we're hearing the numbers are going up. So now the health ministry, Hamas's health ministry, is saying it's more than 330 people now who've died in these overnight strikes. As you say, many of those are children. For the ceasefire agreement, many might be looking at this now that's happened overnight and think, how will that remain in place?
It's fragile ceasefire. And since 3rd of February, when the second stage negotiation should have been started, and was not started, and this was the problem. And some people saying Hamas should have stopped moving to the handing over hostages because it's the strongest card with them until Israel committed to the second stage. Because second stage is full withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, permanent ceasefire, and they're releasing all the hostages. But Israel under Mr. Netanyahu are keen not to withdraw, especially from Rafah, from Philadelphia corridor, because the suspecting smuggling weapons again to Hamas. Hamas will regroup and get more weapons, and some others. So there is pressure on Mr. Netanyahu from some part of his government to carry on the war, and it was said before. Mr. Smotrich said if they go to the second stage, his party will leave the government, and this case will collapse. So it was pressure on Mr. Netanyahu, and he is under the bridge to do that. But the problem is the delegation, or suppose a delegation from Hamas to be in Cairo today, and was a delegation in Israel, was in Egypt yesterday. So nothing happened, and this will put pressure. The ceasefire might collapse. So now is extensive airstrike, but not war yet. So hopefully it's not resumption of the war. Hopefully there is some intervention from international community mediators to put on Israel to stop that and move to the second stage, because Hamas will not hand over the hostages in what is called transitional period between the first and second stage, which suggested by Mr. Witkoff, 42 days until mid-April. It will not happen. So in this case, the only practical step is to go to the negotiation of second stage.
Okay. Saeed, thank you again for talking us through some of the latest developments.